The Raptors lose by 54 points, a franchise record to the Boston Celtics. Happy New Year, everyone! Let's go to the film room. Scottie Barnes really struggled in this game, 1 of 8 from 3, 6 turnovers despite scoring 16 points, and I thought his process was off all game. Celtics defense was packing the paint and basically daring the Raptors to shoot, and Scottie was playing right into their hands. Really low effort shots here, and ultimately it's exactly what the defense wanted. It's not creating an advantage, and especially without Emmanuel Quickley, without RJ Barrett, without Grady Dick, there is no one else on this roster who is able to create an advantage. And ultimately, Scottie's number one skill is using his physicality, imposing his will on the basically on the offensive end as a physical player in order to carve out advantages. That's what helped him become such a great passer early on in his career. By giving the defense these three-point shots, you're not creating an advantage, you're not bending the defense, and you're not able to get into your passing, which is why the turnovers are also happening. Still very good on these turnaround jump shots, against the mismatch, turnaround, bang. Really tough pass here, trying to thread the needle in the pick and roll, just gets it poked out. And because the Celtics are packing the paint, it results in a turnover. Again, he's settling here. And I don't mind the mid-range craft and working on his mid-range shot, but ultimately, you get a chance to go downhill in this situation, and you're not able to really create any sort of advantage here with that jumper. This is what I mean. He's trying to get downhill here and just fumbles the ball. The ball handling is an issue right now for Scottie too, as defenses are keying in on him. His handle isn't up to par with what's required right now. But right here, you're just giving up too easy of a shot. And I understand that, look, the team is daring you to hit those, so you got to make them. But at the same time, they're giving them to you for a reason. Scottie is 5 of 31 in his last 6 games from 3. If teams are going under like this, like Tatum just did, and he's still blocking the shot, I think ultimately the process is wrong here because they are daring you to shoot. You're not creating an advantage. Nothing is happening. Again, really early clock here, 20 seconds left, and the first thing he does is pull up a 3. I just don't like that process from him. It doesn't create any sort of advantage offensively. Yes, it's experimenting, it's trying, but there's a balance that has to be struck in that realm. And also, it's not like the driving and downhill game has been good recently. Yes, that might be because of the health. Maybe that's the ankle bothering him or the hip or the knee or whatever. But it wasn't good. The process wasn't good. And if he's playing, the expectation is that he should be able to do the things that he normally does as an all-star. This is just really bad process. 20 seconds left in the clock and just lets it fly. But these are the possessions that are good. These are good possessions. So, he gets down to the dunker spot, finds a mismatch, splits his way, splits the defense, and finishes inside. Drew Holiday kind of overplays him on the turnaround and just kind of steps through. And so it's there. He's showing it on certain aspects and certain possessions, but it just hasn't culminated in one game or a stack of games, a stretch of games where he's looked like the all-star level player that he was. And I'm not worried about Scottie. I will say that before we get into this conversation. I don't think I'm worried about him long term. I still believe in his eventual ceiling as an all-star level player, potentially an all-NBA player. All of that stuff is good and well. But the process over the last 6 or 7 games has been bizarre because, yes, he's dealing with injuries. Yes, everybody's tired, quote unquote, from Darko Rajakovic, and everybody's kind of battling through that and colds and whatnot. But it's also he's playing, he is playing. And so if he's playing, you expect him to be a level of effective. I'm not sure what else to read into that situation. Obviously there's the 65 game rule and Scottie has that supermax eligibility and all that, getting extra money is a huge incentive here. But I don't have enough information in there, so I don't want to comment on it because I don't know. But if you're playing, and if you're playing like Scottie is, you kind of are expected to play like the all-star that you're supposed to be. And so far, over the last 6 or 7 games, he hasn't. And it's really impacted the Raptors' offense. He's not able to create advantages. He's giving the defense what they want. And it hasn't resulted in good basketball for the Raptors. Some of the worst basketball in franchise history. Over this 4-game stretch, they've allowed 555 points, which is tied for the most since 1991 by any team in NBA history. That's absurd. Consider that for a second. 555 points. It is tied for the most points in a 4-game stretch that any team has done since 1991. Insane. Crazy, crazy stuff. And so the defense is lagging along. The offense is struggling. They're not able to generate shots. This team is still dealing with injuries. It's just all falling apart for the Toronto Raptors. And it's rock bottom, y'all. It is rock bottom for the Toronto Raptors right now. Against the Hawks, it was the most turnovers at home in franchise history. This was the worst loss margin-wise in franchise history. The Grizzlies game was the most points allowed in franchise history. Breaking all the wrong kinds of records here from the Toronto Raptors. And at the forefront of it, there isn't anything positive to take away. You guys know me. I've been doing this for a little bit now. I try to keep on the positive side of things. I try to say, hey, well, there's something good happening here despite the losses. And I think for the first month or so, I could have easily told you that. The competitive games, this being a good process, Grady growing, RJ growing, Jakob showing out why he's so important. All of that was true. But now you're grasping at straws here to find something positive for this Raptors team because there's not a whole lot. And it's tough. It is tough to talk about because, I wish I could come in here and say, well, there are certain things that are happening that are good. There's not much happening that's good right now. And whether it's injuries, whether it's dealing with how this team is going to be able to work rotation-wise and, offensively and defensive identity, it's really, really bad right now. And to make things even worse, your star player, your franchise player, is not playing his best basketball. He's not doing what he needs to as an all-star and franchise player. There are some growing pains there. I like to remind people, and I reminded you guys last time in that YouTube video, the recap, that this is, in my opinion, this is year one of a rebuild. I know some people are like, how dare you say year one of a rebuild? No, it is. It is. You can't. The Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Scottie era was different from what they are now. This is a complete reset to something else. And so this is year one of that rebuild. This is starting from scratch more than anything. And it's also year one of Scottie seeing the amount of attention that he has, dealing with the defensive coverages, dealing with the extra attention. But at the same time, he hasn't been doing what he needs to actually get those reps, to get the opportunity to work through the motions of things. It just feels like he's conceding to what the defense wants him to choose. And the three-point shooting is a part of that. And that bleeds into the turnovers and the playmaking errors. And so it's all been bad right now. And I look, there is an injury caveat to this. He's had the eye injury. He came back from that eye injury, played really great basketball, had the ankle injury, has come back and has not played as good, is also dealing with apparently a hip injury. So you have to caveat everything with the fact that they aren't healthy right now. And it seems like Scottie is not healthy either. But it's tough because they're playing and it's just been bad. They shouldn't be this bad. I guess that's the point I would make. They should not be as bad as they've been over this last 4-game stretch. And them's the breaks, y'all. Let me know what you guys want for 2025. We're heading into a new year. It's a really, really tough year in Raptors franchise history. 2024 was a tough year. You think about, the end of last season, the worst losing streak in franchise history, the worst loss in franchise history against Minnesota, coming back and, the injuries that they've dealt with this year, the stretch that they're on this year. 2024 has been ugly, right? Really, really, really ugly. What are you guys looking forward to in 2025? Is it just Cooper Flag? Is it just the 14% chance at Cooper Flag or Dylan Harper or whoever else you guys like in an Ace Bailey or whatnot, VJ Edgecombe? I don't know. Is it just that? Is that what you guys are looking for in 2025? Or is it the health of this team? Can we see this starting lineup play at least 1 minute of basketball together? Because they haven't. They haven't played even a single minute, of basketball at all. Can we finally see this team play a healthy stretch of hoops? I guess that's what you guys are looking for. I think that's maybe another resolution. I'll give you guys mine. My resolution is for there to be a clear-cut sort of player, and Scottie is that player. But for him to really plant his flag as like, this is going to be my franchise, I am going to lead them to the next level. And I think he's had moments where he's done that. I think he's shown in moments where he can be that player. I'm really, really high on what Scotty Barnes can be. I think he can be an all-star. I think he can be an all-NBA player. I think he has the capability of being a really, really talented player who can lead multiple playoff teams. And hey, if he gets to a really great level, potentially championship teams. But I just want to see it in a consistent stretch for an entire season, and him dominating the way that he did last year for his All-Star campaign, and through that stretch earlier on in this season. And that's my resolution, is for Scotty to get back to what he was, because I think that's the most important thing for this Raptors team right now. Yes, it'd be sick to get a top pick, and maybe that is the resolution, just getting someone else in here to help Scotty. It absolutely is a really important part of what this Raptors team is doing. Health is an important part, in seeing what the Raptors have on both ends and what it looks like when they're all healthy. That's an important part for sure. But I think above all else, you want to be certain in what you're investing in and certain what you're growing in. And that starts with Scotty. And so my 2025 resolution for this team is that Scotty just consistently puts it all together, puts this bad stretch of basketball behind him, and really cements himself as one of the best young players in the league. I think he is that. I think this is a very feasible resolution that I have for 2025, and I think he will get there. But that's the resolution that I have for 2025. Get Scotty Barnes back to being the Scotty Barnes that we all know, that we love to watch, that we enjoy. Folks, Happy New Year. If you're watching this in 2025, I'm talking to you from the past, but enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the new year. I hope it's as prosperous and amazing as you guys hoped it would be. Hope 2025 brings you blessings on top of blessings. And yeah, that's all I got. Subscribe to Raptors Republic. Do the things you guys usually do. Appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys next year.